The digital production buzz at NAB is sponsored by Maxon and by Simply, a global distribution brand.
Right now, we're talking with Blackmagic Design, Maxon, Red Giant, and Sound Devices. This is the Digital Production Buzz covering the 2019 NAB Show. The show starts now.
Live from the 2019 NAB Show in Las Vegas. Technology, products, media, news. Connecting media professionals around the globe with the latest in technology. The NAB Show Buzz starts now.
Hi, welcome back. This is Larry Jordan. This is day one of the 2019 NAB Show, and it is just fun to watch all the people traveling around the booths. I can't tell you, this is the first time we've actually changed our booth so we can actually see into the trade show, and it's just a hive of activity. I'd show you pictures, but it's hard on the radio, so you just have to take my word for it. It's a really cool view. And thinking of cool things, we've got Dan May, the president of Blackmagic Design, who's joining us because Blackmagic owns half of South Lower Hall. Their booth keeps getting bigger. It's now 2.7 million square feet. Dan, welcome back.
Thanks, Larry. Great to be here with you.
Man, I tell you, you can land aircraft inside the Blackmagic booth.
Well, at least small aircraft. We're start small and then go from there.
If it wasn't that we were underground, helicopters could be taking off. So what's news this week?
So Blackmagic, every year we come to NAB, we have a zillion new product announcements. We blow the doors off the place, and it's been exciting for us. This year is only a little different in a few ways. First, we start with DaVinci Resolve. Obviously, DaVinci Resolve is a big part of our platform. People are excited about what we do with it, and we've spent years continuing to add new capability into the software, obviously adding in editing, adding in Fairlight, adding in our visual effects package. This year we decided we wanted to actually do something entirely new, and it's always scary when you do something new because when you're doing it behind closed doors, you're worried that you could really screw it up, basically. And what we kept hearing from people is they wanted to go faster and work faster and be faster. So we've created an entire new page within DaVinci Resolve 16, which is called our cut page. And this is something that's never really been done before, where we've said, look, we want to have a way for people to bring in a bunch of media, be able to slap it all in together in the most quick, fast, and efficient way possible. And the scary thing there is that we didn't want to go in and mess with the edit page, because all of the pages in Resolve are really cultures, and you don't want to go in and say, hey man, your culture's all wrong, do it our way. We really wanted to do something new from the ground up that's never been done before, so we've added this new cut page, which allows people to bring a bunch of footage in, be able to work quite quickly, and we almost applied some of our own manufacturing knowledge when we talk about no wasted movements. I'm not digging for menus.
Now, does this mean, excuse me for interrupting, but does this mean that you're not able to add transitions or effects, or does it flow from here to the application page? What's the use of the cut page?
So the great part there is that it does have some of those applications where you can go ahead and put simple dissolves, simple transitions, simple cuts and fades, but it's not going to give you all of the options that the edit page does. So if I'm saying, look, I've gone out and done a bunch of shooting today, I'm getting on the train, I want to work on my laptop, I don't need to do everything, but I just want to go very quickly and start assembling things, I could do that all in the cut page. But the great part is, because DaVinci is just a series of pages, that is already all loaded up into my edit page and already loaded up into my color page. So now if I'm saying, look, I want to actually change some of those transitions, I want to add titles or move on to color or move on to visual effects. So it was very important for us to be able to do something that was additive and not destructive, in a way that we said, look, we're going to force this upon you as an editor or as a creator, and to create this new environment that will allow people to quickly move from just being able to bring footage in, quickly trim, edit, assemble, and then if they just want to upload it to YouTube because, hey, it's my Fortnite video and I'm good to go, great, you can be done with that. If that's something that's just a first step for you to move on to a longer project, then that's a way for you to efficiently get in there. And if it's something that just needs to be skipped entirely, there's nothing wrong with doing things the way people have done before.
It sounds like this is a great way to create a selects reel.
Exactly.
So I could turn an assistant editor or a producer loose on it to give me a sense of, let's put the flow together, and then have that flow into the editor who can then clean it up.
Absolutely. There's so many different ways you can say, look, this is the beginning of that long form project. And look, when I first started working with non-linear editing, the first thing that I did was I just dumped all that footage in there and just started cutting it up to get that rough thing done, because I didn't know I was supposed to create bins and name clips and do all the things that when we talk about big editing projects that we do.
I should have trained you.
Well, unfortunately, it's too late now. But it's so important for us because we want to, while DaVinci Resolve is used by the highest-end Hollywood guys, and we've done other amazing things like you'd expect we do, added new AI, facial recognition for things. These are really high-end features we've done, but we also wanted to do this new thing that we felt would be great for assistant editors, professional editors, new editors, and something that's never really been tried in our industry. So that's a really exciting thing that we see with Resolve 16 as being one of our kind of cornerstone products for NAB.
Now, when you say it really hasn't been done before, I can't think of a nonlinear editor that doesn't have the ability to cut clips.
Well, the difference is it's the ease of use, and I'll show my age and part of our relationship beforehand. I worked for another company that once upon a time made an editing software that was their own proprietary editing software that was beloved because of how easy it was to use. And while it didn't have all of the features of the other main editing softwares out there, it was just so beloved because of the ease of use and the stability of it, especially at the time when NLE was just coming out. And I do almost see a harken back to that. I just want to quickly get in. I've gone out and done this 2-camera wedding shoot. How do I quickly do that kind of multicam editing quite quickly? And if we have all our time code matched up, I can do these almost linear editing moves in very, very quick fashion. And I think once people start working with the product, they'll figure out how they want to use it rather than us going and saying, here's how you're going to use the product.
Okay, so we've got this new cut page inside Resolve 16. And by the way, congratulations on the release.
Thank you.
Resolve 16. What else is new in Resolve?
So we've done a bunch of things where we've improved, of course, performance capabilities across Fusion and Fairlight. Those platforms continue to be added in there. I mentioned some of the neural intelligence where we too are adding in an AI functionality. I mentioned the facial recognition software, so being able to say, hey, I've dumped in 400 clips and I've got these 10 actors. I want them to all be put into folders where they can have the facial recognition say, this is the main actor, this is the side actor, this is the mom character, and all of those things will go on. Using AI to be able to do the ability to do masks, intelligent masks. Hey, I want to take out this balloon from the picture, but the picture is panning across. Simply mask it out. The artificial intelligence now goes and fills in all that data behind there. So some really high-end features that we've put in addition to just the cut page for the ease of use. So it's important for us to continue to advance the entire platform across all of its different pages so that nobody feels like, oh, well, they've just focused on editors or color correcting. We want to make sure all those are advancing together.
Now, I would like normally to talk to you more about the AI part, but I don't want to run out of time, and I know you've also released some new hardware. Tell me about that.
Yeah, one of the things that is also a little bit different for us is, for Blackmagic Design, often when we talk about our hardware development, we challenge ourselves to make the best $1,000 camera, or how do we make a hyperdeck recorder that's $1,000? And a lot of our decisions are about creating a price point to help elevate people and empower people. This year we actually took a little bit of a different approach because we've had so many customers come and say, well, can you add this and can you do this? And we said, well, look, why don't we not worry about the price point for once and actually just keep putting features in and putting features in. And what we realized was we were building this great big product, and by big, it's big by Blackmagic standards in some of these $5,000 and $10,000 products we've created. But we realized that we were just a hair away from basically creating 8K products.
What?
An 8K product.
An 8K, Dan,
so
what were you smoking?
The thing is, this is real rationale behind all
I really
of this,
am anxious.
and you're going to love it. If you're going to go and create a 4ME switcher where you're creating all of these different inputs in there, and you say, look, we've got a 40 input switcher, and it's at Ultra HD, well, that's really a 10 input 8K switcher. Now the question is, how many people need 8K switchers? And we know that that's not a huge market out there, but as we're looking at ourselves saying, we're doing something we've never done, or that we're almost uncomfortable, we're going to charge you, Larry, sit down, $10,000 for a product. I want to make sure that I'm giving the people the most they can for that $10,000 product. So not only is it going to be an HD switcher and an Ultra HD switcher, it's going to be an 8K switcher. It's going to have all of the capabilities of upscaling, downscaling. It's going to have all the ability to have these programmable outputs, everything that we can do and give to people, including 8K, understanding that not everyone today needs that 8K switcher.
We will have a long conversation about this in the future. 8K, I think, is a pox on humanity. But, I don't want to, mince words here or something. Dan, for people who want to know the latest in Blackmagic, where do they go on the web?
They can find us at www.blackmagicdesign.com.
And notice that it's actually with no hyphens and .com. I'm very impressed. Dan May is the president of Blackmagic Design. The website is Blackmagic Design, all one word, blackmagicdesign.com. And Dan, have yourself a great show. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Larry.
Every year at the NAB Show, you'll find more than a few attendees camping out at the Maxon Cinema 4D booth all day. Why? Because Maxon hosts presentations by the most respected 3D artists in visual effects, motion graphics, and design. This year, there will be 28 unique presentations from 21 different artists. Even if you're not attending NAB, you can watch all the Cinema 4D presentations streaming live at c4dlive.com. And if you register, you'll be entered into a raffle to win from over $20,000 in prizes. Can't watch live? No worries. All presentations will be made available on demand on the Maxon YouTube channel a few weeks after the show. Maxon Cinema 4D. Stop by Maxon's booth at NAB in South Lower 6324 or tune in to the live stream at c4dlive.com. That's C, the number 4, D, live.com. Welcome back to day one of the 2019 NAB show. This is Larry Jordan, and we are sitting and chatting. Well, I must confess, not only is he a great guy, but he's one of our sponsors, which makes him an especially great guy. Dave McGavran is the CEO of Maxon, the folks that make Cinema 4D. Hello, Dave. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Do you want to be Dave or David?
You can go with Dave.
I can go with whatever. It's your name. You get to pick.
I've been discussing this all day, so I think we've not decided yet. So we'll go with Dave for this since we started that way.
So for this day only, we're going to call him Dave McGavran. Dave, welcome. You're based where?
We're based in Friedrichsdorf, Germany, outside of Frankfurt.
Which is where all development takes place.
Most of the development takes place there. We also have a development office in Montreal. So we have a number of developers there as well.
So for people that haven't heard about Cinema 4D yet, first, they need to. And second, how would you describe the product?
It's I'd like to think of it as the industry-leading 3D modeling, sculpting, motion graphics tool set for creating, all the 3D content that's out there.
And who would you describe as target markets?
Well,
you don't have to list all of them, but who's a couple?
I think the biggest market that we have is broadcast motion graphics with 3D content. But we're used in medical, we're used in architecture, we're used in all sorts of 3D aspects, motion pictures, visual effects. So it's used everywhere.
So NAB is all about that which is new. So I hope you have something new to talk about today, or we're going to have a very, very short interview.
We have a number of new things to talk about, but there's obviously some very big news today.
Go for it. What you got?
So we've been working on this project since I've started at Maxon to really invest in our future of the rendering part of 3D technology. So this morning at 10 a.m. we announced that we acquired Redshift rendering technology, which is just a great experience for us, and the customer reaction has been spectacular from both customer segments, from the Maxon side and the Redshift side.
Well, what did they do that you guys, because you've been rendering, and especially the Cinebench test has been a proof of rendering since the beginning of time. Why would you acquire somebody?
So we have an absolutely beautiful, high-quality CPU renderer. It's, almost all of our stuff is coming out of it. People love it. It's super high quality. However, the industry is really starting to get to the point where GPU rendering is now as high quality, as beautiful, but it's much, much more performant. And so it's critical that we have that technology in-house.
So you were doing CPU rendering, and now you're shifting that over to the graphics processing unit, the GPU.
Correct, and they're both going to be used for the foreseeable future. They have differences, but GPU is critical for much of our market segment.
Why so?
It's faster. That's pretty much it. It gives you interactivity so that as you're working on your project, you can actually get real feedback as you're moving your scenes around and changing them, whereas CPU, you need to wait quite a bit longer.
But you guys are famous for the quality of your images. If you go with GPU rendering, am I going to suffer a loss in quality?
I wouldn't say a loss, but there are differences at times. However, Redshift is probably the highest quality one out there, and they've been working on it since 2012. So actually a huge segment of our user base has already moved over to Redshift because the performance and the quality is more than enough for what they're doing.
So I would take a Cinema 4D project and then just export it to Redshift?
Well, you'll be using the Redshift plugin within Maxon. It ships already today, and so all the settings that you're using in Redshift are already available to you within Maxon.
Okay, so faster rendering is always a plus because 3D rendering takes forever, which is not your fault.
Now.
Oh, less than forever. So what else you got that's new?
We just came off the Academy Awards.
Congratulations.
2 months ago, I think, or something like that. Time is flying really fast now. So it was an absolute pleasure to be able to go down there and just have Maxon and the programmer Per Edwards being recognized for the MoGraph tool set, having that much of an impact on the motion picture industry. So that was just a huge opportunity for us and just a huge honor.
Besides the acquisition, is there anything new in the product?
Not specific to the show floor. We released R20 back in September, and it's just gotten a massively popular release. It's being picked up really fast. Customers are really attracted to it.
Okay, so here's the quiz on your memory.
Uh-oh.
You released Rev 20
Yep.
last fall. What are some of the highlights in that release?
So we had some of the biggest thing is OpenVDB, so volumetric modeling is really big. We also have full CAD import, but one of the biggest things, especially for the motion graphic at this thing, is fields. It's the new feature in the MoGraph tool set that just gives you the ability to have fall-off fields with all the parameters in the motion graphics.
Now that means what? Where something fades away?
No, it sort of spreads through the animation. So it's almost hard to describe because it's so powerful. You can use it in almost every different way. But we have 20 artists giving demos at our booth, and they're showing off all the variations of how it can be used. It actually was even hard for some of our customers to understand because it's a subtly powerful feature, and in the 6-7 months since it's been released, everybody's surprising each other with how varied it can be. But it's in the same tool set that won the Academy Award, so it's just taking it to another level. But you can also mix that then with the volumetrics, and it obviously gets arbitrarily complex.
So where are you taking the product? Where are your goals? And I'm not looking for a product release, but more what's caught your attention and what are you paying attention to?
So obviously the GPU part, right? If you can do things faster, then you can open it up to more customers, right? It was a self-limiting factor in the past that if you were going to be a 3D artist, you needed to be able to be someone who can work with a 24-hour render and then have the patience to change the parameters and fix it again. So I think when you start getting into the high performance 3D, you have a lot more potential for customers because it's going to go to the broader. But at the same point, if you just look at where the industry's going, and I saw this even in my previous roles, if you look at an AR thing or a VR or any of these things where people are trying to have more immersive experiences, every bit of content that goes into that needs to have 3D or it doesn't make sense. You're not going to put a postcard or a 2D object in an AR experience. So as all the industry is changing so that there's more 3D content being created, we want to be the people who create it for you. And so that's just naturally expanding our market. And if you mix that then with our partnerships with Adobe or with this now GPU rendering, we just have this huge market opportunity to have more people using our tools.
But the challenge is getting people to understand how to use your tools. Cinema 4D is not the world's easiest application to learn.
Absolutely not, and I've been learning it myself in the last year and taking lots of courses. But I think what is fair to say is it's the easiest of the 3D creation tools.
And I don't mean to say otherwise, but what are you doing to help people learn the app?
Yeah, so we're doing a lot of investigation of what it means to do sort of, onboarding. That's the new industry term for how do you get started in an application very fast. And it's one of the things I've been working with the team on since I've been there is how do we start making it more accessible to more people. And some of that is nice because if you start in an After Effects where a lot of people are really skilled and then move over to a Cinema with the Cineware plugin, that is actually a natural sort of education point for people. So you can move those 2D compositors over pretty easy because there's a lot of similarities. But we do need to work on our onboarding and our in-app learning, so we're working really hard on that.
Well, do you have any educational resources people can refer to?
Absolutely. We have a website called Cineversity, and that's a great place to go. You can find it all linked off of our website, maxon.net, so Cineversity has hours and hours of content.
Very cool. If there's one thing you wanted people to know about Cinema 4D, what would it be?
Wow. If you want to do 3D, come and give it a try. It's everything you need to do the best 3D content in the world.
And for people that want to learn more, what website can they go to?
They should go to maxon.net, and we have demos available, and they can try it out.
That's all one word, Maxon, maxon.net, not .com, maxon.net. And Dave McGavran is the CEO of Maxon, except on those days when he's not Dave, but David. Dave McGavran is the CEO of Maxon. And Dave, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Take care. Welcome back. Now I want to introduce Aharon Rabinowitz. He's the head of marketing and the executive producer for Red Giant Films. In case you were wondering, that means he's working with Red Giant. Aharon, welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
So tell us, for people that may not know, describe Red Giant.
Red Giant is a company that makes tools for people creating motion graphics, visual effects, and doing color correction. We make mostly things that plug into other host applications like Adobe Premiere Pro, After Effects, Final Cut Pro, and the like.
Well, we were just talking to Dave McGavran, who is doing very similar things with Cinema 4D. What's the difference between the two of you?
Well, again, they are a 3D application. And by the way, the news on Redshift was amazing today. That it's really one of the things that I'm most excited about, having heard at NAB. So rarely do I get excited, but that was pretty cool. We actually make stuff that, again, works with their stuff. You know, you render something out in Cinema 4D, bring it over to After Effects, and then you're working with our plugins to help enhance the 3D stuff that you're doing there.
But my understanding is you're not doing 3D. They're doing 3D. You're doing 2D work?
Well, some of it. You might export some 3D models from their tools, from something you modeled in Cinema 4D, bring it into After Effects, and we can use that as a particle generation system that's shaped like that 3D object, for example. So stuff you might model in Cinema 4D can then become a particle emitter for trap code stuff that we make.
Very cool. Well, one of the things that we want to talk about at NAB is we want to talk about that which is new. So what has Red Giant done for us lately?
What have we done for you lately? Well, last year's been really, amazing. Since the last NAB, we released, near the end of the last year, we released something called Trap Code Fluid Dynamics, which is
Trap Code
Fluid Dynamics, right? And it's the first time ever you have particle systems interacting as if they were contained in fluid. So up until now, all the particle systems have been sort of independent. They shoot particles out. But for the first time ever, you have this dynamic fluid environment in which particle systems kind of interact, the particles swirl amongst each other, and it's allowed to create some really powerful looking visual effects and some great motion graphics. It's been probably the coolest thing we've done in the last year.
And that's part of Trap Code?
It's part of Trap Code. It's actually in Trap Code particular and Trap Code form.
Okay. So that's clearly the only new thing that you guys have done in the last 12 months?
Clearly not, man. We released Red Giant Universe 3.0, which was a really big upgrade to our fastest growing tool set, the fastest growing tool set, most adopted thing. It's something that we offer on subscription, which we never thought people were going to love, but people love being able to sort of rent these plugins either annually or monthly. But essentially, we've got this this set of over 70 tools that are available in After Effects, Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, tons of other stuff. And it's stuff that editors would be using, also that motion graphics are using, but we're trying to bring motion graphics to people who don't have the time to create motion graphics, and that's what Universe has really become.
In other words, not just a plugin, but presets and templates they can work with?
Yes. In fact, every one of the over 70 tools comes with presets to make it very easy to just quickly apply them and jump in and make changes. And I've seen even our presets used. I was actually watching Bumblebee, the movie, and I was like, wow, I made that preset. That's really cool. Somebody was really lazy, but I got to do that. So, and we are actually, in terms of new, we don't have it out yet, but we are showing it tomorrow actually at the Frame.io booth, a little bit of it. We have a new visual effects suite that's coming out, and it's aimed at solving the challenges of complex compositing and visual effects in After Effects.
Now, what does that mean in English?
Well, a lot of things that people might go to something like Nuke for, because it's too hard to do in a program like After Effects. We're trying to bring a much higher level of compositing visual effects to After Effects. After Effects is my favorite tool, but it does have its challenges.
Well, give me an example of what's a compositing challenge.
Okay, I don't want not getting too into it, but a great thing that we find is trying to composite environments. If you have a lot of elements that you're compositing into a scene, and the light from the background is supposed to bleed over into every object that you're compositing in, it's very difficult to light wrap every single object, right? But we are coming up with tools that make it easy. Like you apply a light wrap, and then suddenly everything knows that it's supposed to be brought over onto that layer. So you're making what is easy in Nuke something very easy to do, something easy to do in After Effects.
It's like you're backlighting a virtual set. You got to have that light float around.
Right, and the challenge is that when something passes between, if you have a layer that passes between your layer that's in your foreground, it doesn't pick up that layer because it's looking at the back layer for the light. So we're trying to this product is aimed at a lot of really interesting things, and not just a small one, but just sort of making it easier to composite things that would take a lot of pre-composing and a lot of work to just make it super easy to do in After Effects.
It isn't that it's hard to composite, but it's hard to make it look like it's a single scene.
Yeah.
And so what you're looking at is trying to make it a single scene.
Yeah, it's a mix of of bringing many things together that would otherwise be very challenging to bring together into one shot in After Effects, for example.
Okay, well, before we run out of time, what else you got that's new?
Well, we're working on, as you know, we always make films, right? We've got...
I don't think we make films. I think you make films.
No, I wish I made the films. I have directed, but Seth Worley and Stu Mashowitz and Daniel Hashimoto are part of our team. Stu directed a film this year called Tank. It was amazing. People loved it. It was really a good throwback to like a lot of the 80s, but not in terms of like acting. It was graphically, he recreated the look of vector art games and at that era. Hashi filmed something this summer with David Hewlett from The Shape of Water, and that's being worked on. And Seth is nearing completion on a film that he is working on called Darker Colors. So we have a lot of stuff that we've been very active with.
Now, why? You and I have talked about this before, but now suddenly you're turning yourself into a production house. You've got multiple films in post.
Yeah, I mean, the way we look at it is, if we're not making things with our products, then we don't really understand what we're doing. You know, we make the same way we make our products, which is we don't make things. I actually said this recently. We don't make things to make money. We make things that make money because we love them. We need these tools, so we make them for us. And then if we're lucky, they live through that process of believing that they're important and become a product that we can then sell. Our films are not something we use to make money. It's not a thing we sell. We want to share, but we want to inspire people because we're inspired by visual effects and filmmaking and the great work that's being done out there. And so we like to do these things because it's in our DNA. Like Stu worked on Star Wars. You know, Hashi just spent time working on some films. Seth is a director. Me, I watched a lot of movies. That's the best I got. But we love film, and for us to make it helps us make our tools better too.
So have we got all the list of new things, or is there more to come?
No, I think that visual effects suite is a big deal, and it's going to be. We're really excited about it. It's going to. I hate saying people say game changers and things like that, but I've been working with the tool for the last few weeks. The set of tools, because there's actually 9 of them, and it's going to blow people away what they can do with this.
Have you announced the name?
It's going to be called the VFX Suite. And it'll be on. So, I know, right? Let's just keep
Marketing
it simple.
just runs amok.
Right. It runs on its own. We don't have to write anything. You know.
And have you announced a release date or pricing?
That not yet. No.
Why not?
I find that people get really disappointed when you announce a release date and then you don't release by that date.
Oh, well, that's the point.
Right. Products take time. They do. But we've been working on this for a long time, and it's gone through a lot of love. And that's we don't want to release something that we don't think is going to be awesome. So we're very close, but we need a little more time.
There's a lot of effects companies and a lot of effects out there. Why should somebody choose Red Giant?
So the thing that Stu Mashowitz once said to me, Stu, who again I mentioned before, he's a filmmaker and he's our chief creative officer, and he worked on Iron Man and Star Wars. He once said to me, if I had to tell somebody why they should buy a HoloMatrix plugin that I designed, I'm not going to tell them because that is this feature or that feature. I'm going to tell them because we got a guy at the company who's so nerdy about holograms that a lot of love went into this product. And for Stu, it's color correction and visual effects. You know, this is what he breathes and lives. And this is what we are. We're not people who just see the stuff. We make this stuff because we love it.
And for people who want to find out what products are made with love, where can it go on the web?
Head over to redgiant.com.
And that's all one word, the word redgiant.com, redgiant.com. And Aharon Rabinowitz is the head of marketing and the executive producer at Red Giant Films. And Aharon, it is always fun visiting. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take care. I want to introduce you to Simply Workspace. Powered by StoreNext 6, this new storage technology is the answer to how smaller post and in-house creatives can work simultaneously on high-resolution content without the hassle of big facility infrastructure. All your content is stored in one place. There's no moving and no copying files. Just plug in your Macs, PCs, or Linux workstations using a Thunderbolt cable and get to work. Simply Workspace is a professional-grade storage network. Starting at $10,995 for a 24-terabyte RAID system supporting 4 simultaneous Mac users. You can grow capacity and users as you need up to 288 terabytes and 8 simultaneous users. No rack storage, no fiber channel, just the speed and ease you need. It's called Simply Workspace. That's SYMPLY, Simply Workspace. Learn more at gosimply.com. Hi, this is Larry Jordan. Thank you for listening to our coverage of the 2019 NAB Show. Now, I want to invite you to continue listening to the Digital Production Buzz after NAB ends. For almost 20 years, The Buzz has covered the media industry for creative storytellers. We look at new technology, new techniques, and the people who turned them into programs. From production to post to marketing and distribution, we focus every show, every week, on helping you grow your creative business. We webcast a new show live every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. Los Angeles time. Then make it available for download on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, and thedigitalproductionbuzz.com. Join the Buzz family and discover what the future of media holds while you still have time to plan for it. I look forward to chatting with you each week. Welcome back. This is day one of the NAB Show. This is Larry Jordan, and I'm talking with Paul Isaacs. He's the Director of Product Management and Design for Sound Devices. Hello, Paul. Welcome back.
How are you doing, Larry? Thanks for having me.
It is always fun to talk about audio because we're an audio podcast, and you guys are doing the stuff that we love every day, so it's always fun chatting. For people that may not know, give us a quick description of Sound Devices.
Well, Sound Devices have been around for about 20 years, making cool portable mixers and recorders, primarily for the TV and film industry. But in the last few years, we've been making portable recorders also for other markets like podcasters, YouTubers, any form of content creator, videographers. Last year, the year before, we released the Mix Pre series, which brought our technology to a wider audience. And that's been going really well. And we've actually started branching out into the MI market as well recently.
MI?
Yeah, so we've developed sort of overdubbing technology, so now people can make music without a computer. They can multi-track and create great songs without having to sit in front of a computer and be an IT technician. So that's what been very successful over the last year or so.
And just because I know the answer, but where's the company based?
Wisconsin.
Which you got to admit is not the world's audio capital, but it's where I grew up. So I get the biggest kick out of the fact that you guys are based there.
Well, we want our dreams to turn it into the new Silicon Valley.
There you go.
There are a couple of high-tech companies out there. There's ETC, who are also here at this trade show, and there's Epic, the big health company, data company. So yes, it's a pretty buzzy vibe around there.
Very cool. Well, let's talk about the new stuff, because this is NAB after all.
Yeah.
What have you got that's new?
Well, we have a Scorpio.
A Scorpio.
Yeah, we're getting into astrology.
I don't want scorpions. I have enough trouble with them in this desert. What's a Scorpio?
A Scorpio, this is our most premium product we've ever developed. It's been a long time in the making. It's are you familiar with the 788T?
I will always say no about that, so tell me about it.
Well, the 788T was like the workhorse multi-track recorder mixer for TV and film for really over the last 10, 12 years. And we brought out the 6 series, which has also been a very high-tech 16-track portable mixer recorder for use in TV and film, for sound dialogue for those applications. But our users, our 788 customers wanted something to replace their 788T, and there's a number of reasons why that particular product, that was our premium product. But this product, the Scorpio, is a product that not only replaces the 788, but it upgrades it from a long, long way. So it's effectively a 32 input channel, 36 track recorder.
32 channel, 36 track?
Mixer recorder with 16 of our highest quality mic preamps we've ever made, 12 analog outs, 12 internal mix buses, 32 channel Dante in and out, AES in and out, and integrated wireless, all in a portable package that you can run over your shoulder with batteries.
I just want you to know that our audio engineer left waving his credit card, so this show may just shut down right now. How did you manage to do that? That's amazing. It sort
of defies the laws of physics, really. But let's start by saying, who's this for? Who's going to want something like this? You know, we're seeing sort of like exponential growth in the number of wireless channels that people want to use in reality shows. You've got the Big Brothers, the Survivors, all of these reality shows that it's just more and more talent are required to be recorded on isolated record tracks. And we're also seeing episodics requiring more and more channels.
But why portable? Because if you've got that big a video village, you've got room to set down a mixing console.
Well, take Game of Thrones, for instance. One of our sound mixers, Ronan Hill, he's been running around with more than 16 mics, chasing actors around in like really difficult, very confined locations in the middle of the Irish countryside or wherever they're filming Game of Thrones. He's needing more and more channels, and we're seeing this need grow and grow all the time. So it seems like we bring out a device and people say, oh, I'll never need that many channels.
And a week later.
That happened with the 788, the 688, and so we add more. And this is that. So, but it's also got applications, for instance, for live classical recording, anywhere where there are multiple mics required. And these are the highest quality mic preamps. And for any type of mobile situation. So
have you announced a release date?
It will be in the second quarter.
And have you announced the price?
Yes, it's $8,995. So it records to 3 media. It's got an internal drive, 256 gigabyte, and you can also simultaneously record to 2 SD cards, so you can hand off backup copies. But one of the things that I really wanted to talk about is how we've opened up the control architecture of this portable box. Because yes, you can use it on the shoulder. I don't think many people are going to use that many channels over the shoulder, but it's also designed for cart-based fixed mobile rigs. And in those situations, people want to use it with external fader controllers. So we now support the USB MIDI control protocol, which has been widely supported by many controllers out there for many years. And we actually specifically support the Mackie control interface. And
so I could have your recorder, but drive it through a Mackie interface.
Yeah, so out of the chute, we're supporting a controller by a company called Icon. They make this platform range, and it's a very compact, because our customers like compact solutions so they can be mobile. And it's got like 8 motorized faders, and they can be bank switchable, so you can access all 32 channels by hitting the bank button 4 times. Each channel has full control over fader, trim gain, mutes, solos, record arming, 3-band EQ, high-pass filters, limiters, delay, bus sends. This is basically a full digital live console in a portable box. Think of an Allen & Heath or a Digico or any of those large-scale consoles. This has the same power and flexibility that has. It is. I keep having to sort of like try to wake myself up that we actually developed this thing, but it's pretty incredible, and we've received a lot of interest in this, even in just the first day here at NAB.
That is so cool. Shipping second quarter?
Yep.
And $8,995.
$8,995, $4 difference.
Right. Got to save every penny we can.
Yep.
$8,995, and it's called the
Scorpio.
Is there anything else at the booth that we want to touch on quickly before you run out of time?
Well, something that's new. So I was talking about the Mix Pre series, which is the more budget value product range, which is more suited to podcasters, videographers, and YouTubers. We have actually now provided controllers for those as well, and we also have an Ambisonics implementation too. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
So I can now drive the Mix Pre again from a standalone controller. So I've got fader controls and can feel like I'm running a console, which is actually feeding your unit.
Absolutely.
Which is very cool. For people who want more information about the products that Sound Devices has, where can they go on the web?
SoundDevices.com.
That's all one word, Sound Devices, sounddevices.com, and Paul Isaacs is the Director of Product Management and Design for Sound Devices. Paul, there's some very exciting things there. I wish you great success and have yourself a great show.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
I want to thank our guests today. We started with Dan May from Blackmagic Design, Dave McGavran from Maxon, Aharon Rabinowitz from Red Giant, and Paul Isaacs from Sound Devices. Our senior producer is Debbie Price, show producer Pauline Borowski. Transcripts are provided by Simon Says. My name is Larry Jordan. Thanks for listening to the Digital Production Buzz at the 2019 NAB Show.
The Digital Production Buzz at NAB was sponsored by Maxon and by Simply, a global distribution brand.
The Digital Production Buzz at NAB is copyright 2019 by Thalo LLC.